Hello lovely people, how are you all doing? I do hope you're well. I'm back, seconds later for me, but a few hours later for you to start or to introduce you to part 2 of my day, which starts, I can't remember what time it was, where we got to, 2, 3 o'clock. Anyway, we're carrying on from where I left off on my very typical day, especially because it was rainy in the morning and that meant, no gardening for me. But never mind, as you've seen, there's always plenty to do. So without further ado, let's carry on and get stuck into the rest of this day. Goody good. Watered, done, tidied up. You see, that's the thing about living in a small home. You have to you have to get everything out to do a project and then put it all away afterwards in order to move on to the next thing, because there's no space to leave anything out. Right, I've nicked I've got the label off the front, tightened spacing, 30 centimetres in spacing, 40 centimetres height, says it's a nice compact, where did I read that? Forms a rounded mound, a round mound. Well, that will complement my round mound. Lavenders, won't it? Right, digressing. So, like I was saying about do a stand-up job, do a sit-down job. So, sit-down job, in a minute it will be a stand-up job in terms of I'll start prepping the first of those things I want to cook. Now, part of my sit-down is my social media for the day. I've taken some pictures of the Peter now that they're potted up. I try to do different things on Facebook, different things on Instagram. Sometimes it might be the same subject, but yeah, try and keep those things out there. So quickly pop my camera card into the computer. While it takes ages to decide it wants to do anything. It's come up quite promptly for once. So let's choose these 3 pictures to import. That's the printer, yay! It's really compact. So, what I should say, my old printer normally there's a little shelf under the table, so this one will probably go down there as well. The old one had a habit that was so annoying, it would never pick the paper up. So you press print and immediately the paper error would come up. So I had to hand feed every sheet of paper through. Now you can imagine it's under there, it's really awkward, I'd be like, ah. So this one the other day when I was doing all my printing, I didn't have to touch it. It was just like, came out. So obviously this kind of unfolds in front, there's a sort of tray and it flaps, because it's so narrow, you can see how narrow it is. It's in 3 parts, so a part comes out, another part comes out, and then the final part unfolds. Obviously the paper hopper here at the back, that all collapses down, so it's really tiny and tidy. And never mind all the faff from beforehand, so far I really like it. I think it's going to suit my small home and my requirements. Right, so that's my photographs are imported. Let's get the photo card out. Then the next thing I will do, I'm not going to keep you here. You're not going to just sit there for 2 hours whilst I do this, don't worry. So I'll do my little social media bits, and then those couple of parcels I've just made, one was for eBay, so I'll go into my eBay account to let them know it's been dispatched. I've just come on the computer now and it's really lovely. I've had my first bit of feedback from the sales that happened on Thursday. I had them all parcelled and I had them to the post office on Friday, and the first person has received theirs. And it was that one of the Acatania, I think it was Cunard, one of Cunard's liners. Quite delicate, really, really early piece. So I packed it really carefully. And the buyer had said in their note, please make sure you pack it properly. It's like, of course I will. But anyway, I've just had a note from that buyer to say it's arrived and it was brilliantly packaged and it's perfect and they're delighted. And that's really nice. It's really nice to get that sort of positive feedback. Yeah. So I will do that the Octo Garden, I need to do that little kind of bit of admin to say, yeah, it's dispatched. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's done. The lovely Swedish linens, I will go into my shop, have to go into the back end of my shop to say that that's been processed, and that generates an automatic email to the buyer, and it lets them know that I'm on it. So it's not just a case of you order something and then you don't hear anything until it arrives, which in the UK wouldn't be so much of an issue because I usually get things out to people within a couple of days. Usually if you order something before a week is out, you'll have it. But especially for my overseas customers, they may not receive it for a couple of weeks or so. So I think it's just really important for me to let people know, you know what, yeah, I've seen your order, thank you, it's on its way. Then once I've been to the post office, I'll be back on here because the thing about the postage algorithm, it's a bit tricky. I have to assume I'm selling only one item at a time to one person. And so the cost for postage includes the item plus an amount for the weight of packaging, because packaging weighs. So if someone buys 3 items, it's all going to go in one parcel. That reduces the packaging weight. And so in the UK, it doesn't happen so much because our packaging bans. You can go up to 2 kilos and the price doesn't change. But all my overseas customers, the price goes up in increments. I think it's every 250 grams of weight. So more often than not, for my overseas customers, if they've bought more than one item, then there will be a postage refund to them because my algorithm will calculate postage for 3. I don't know if that's making sense. It's calculating the weight too much. So then when I get to the post office and I do it, I go, oh, brilliant, it costs 20 quid instead of 25 quid to post. I get home, first thing I do, get back on the computer, refund that person their £5 straight away and say, yay, it's on its way. So, lots of admin-y stuff to do on the computer right now. I'll do my social media bits. I'll do my parcel bits to let my customers, eBay and my shop know. I've got comments to reply to on the last video. Hopefully at some point in that time I'll get the delivery because I really want to get out and get to the post office and get those things out of the flat and done. Cooking. I'm not going to think too far ahead because there are so many bits to do today. If I think too far ahead, my brain will explode. So I'm going to say, why don't you get a cup of tea for now, and I'll join you again in a few minutes for something else. I don't know what. Probably, I don't know, what will I be doing next? No idea, but I'll see you in a couple of minutes. I'm so glad to get out of the chair. Let me just put my wrap up. That kind of sounds like the manifestation of my bones. Oh, just to say, before I forget, because I've just put it up again, my hair clip. Do you remember I was saying how, when was it? Oh, I can't remember which, I think it was probably my thoughts on. Sorry, just to say, my washing's finished, I thought I'd just stand and chat because honestly, sitting is great for my knees. Yay, give them a rest. But that's got to be like a couple of hours I've just spent on the computer. And it's actually hurting my back. Anyway, yeah, the hair clip. It was only £2.50, but I got it home and I bought 2. And it was broken. I was like, oh, for goodness sakes. Because to go back to that shop would be a £3.30 bus ride. Anyway, I've got a tiny local branch of that shop and I didn't think they were going to, I knew they wouldn't exchange it because they didn't stock it there, but I wasn't even sure whether they'd give me a refund. Anyway, I spoke to the lass on the counter, she wasn't sure, she thought no, but she called the manager over and I spoke really nicely to the manager and she said, yeah, we'll give you a refund. So I got a refund. So I've only got one hair clip, but one is better than none. Yeah, so I've just done a load of, I do feel really stiff after that. I've just done a load of stuff on the computer. And whilst I was on it, Oh, bit of thread there. What's that from? I've had 2 emails, and they're the kind of emails that I'll get this thread off once it's dry. I can't be bothered. Yeah, they're the sort of emails that are sort of, they spoil my day a bit. I'm trying not to let them. The kind of emails that make you a bit grumpy. And I know what I'm like. It can kind of, they can just derail my day. I'm not very good at, I mean, it's a funny thing this, because I think of myself, I'm quite a good problem solver. But just sometimes you think, I just want something to just go smoothly without too much intervention, what have you. Anyway, so, let's just get this hung out to balance the hangers. It's a really old, it's one of my old dog towels. Look how scratchy it looks, it's got dog prints on it. It came free with, there we go, there's the advert on the bottom. Came free with a big sack of food. The ones on hangers aren't actually staying here, they go into the bathroom to hang. Let's pop them out of the way for now, just pop them onto the door frame. Yeah, so the first email I've looked at, ping, it's about my, it's about my, see, there's always so much chaos here. It's about my strimmer. And it said, the strimmer has been dispatched, blah, 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 blah. I got an email last night saying it's out for delivery. And this t-shirt's really annoying. It's massively shrunk. No, don't make any jokes. It's shrunk in length. The arms are now here instead of, anyway. So this email's just said, your order will be with you by 10 p.m. 10 p.m. So if it doesn't come till 10 to 10, that means I can't leave the house. They haven't given me a time, so I can't leave the house. These things are so. What I'm hoping is there will be an update and they'll give me a narrower window. I sincerely hope it's not until 10, because I'd like to get that big. I've put it on the landing. I put the big pass on my landing so that when they do buzz, I don't forget to take that down with me at the same time. Anyway, I sincerely hope it's before 10 o'clock tonight. The shop where I can drop the big parcel for the courier, excuse me, flap. You see, if you flap your clothes out, you don't need to do any ironing. And as much as I love ironing when it comes to linens, I like ironing things which are square and flat. I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, I'd like to get that big one out of the way. And the good thing is that the shop that have that courier collection point, they're open till quite late. I think they're open till about 11, maybe even midnight. So I could, in theory, get down there, really late this evening. Never mind. It's not a big deal. It's just a bit of an inconvenience, what have you. But the next email was, so there I was saying a few minutes ago, in your time, 2.5 hours ago in my time, that, actually no, it's more like 3.5 hours, I'd applied for the bus pass. So I've just had an email back from them. Ow. Saying they want evidence, and they want evidence in the form of a doctor's letter. Now, I anticipated that, and I'd rung the surgery to say I need a letter to show that, that I've got this, osteoarthritis, that I'm struggling, that, the doctors don't do letters anymore. Now, I don't know if that was just a bit of an annoying receptionist, whether that's true. So I can't get any documentary evidence from the doctor. But what do people do when they're applying for things like PIP and all that sort of stuff? Anyway, what I have got, I've got my letter from the hospital from my appointment in January. Thank goodness I've got that at least. And it does say that there is, it even uses the word severe in it. So, well, you know what, I just hope that will be enough. But I'm doing avoidance now. I need to scan that letter, and it's this new printer, and I don't know how to use the scan. So I'm in that thing. Oh, you can tell I made a bit of a mess the other day. The reason the dog towel is in the wash, and this scratty old tea towel, it's really filthy. This tea towel is actually from, oh my goodness, it's like 2006, 16 years ago. I'm sure loads of you have had tea towels like this in the past. This was from my nephew's school. Each class, each kid drew themselves. I can't remember where he is on it, but yeah, I'm sure lots of you have had tea towels like this, haven't you? Where, oh look, it's filthy. The kids have drawn themselves. Yeah, this is a cleaning one now. It's just like a cleaning rag. What was I doing? I can't remember. I caused an almighty mess though that needed a bit of moppage. Yeah, so I'm in that thing now of, oh, I need to sit again. Come on, get comfy, come round here. Let's have a sit. Oh. Now I look like I'm all wall and no head. Come closer. There you are. And then I can sit here and sort my smalls or my socks. My very much favoured bamboo socks. These were a Prezi. These are from Sea Salt. I love Sea Salt socks. Yeah, when I talk about it, it can derail me, because now what I don't want to do is try to do this scan, not be able to do it and get my knickers in such an almighty twist that I end up not doing anything else with the rest of the day. And like I say, I know myself well, and I know that's the kind of thing that happens. Oh, there's another pair of Sea Salt. They're so jolly, aren't they, in their, camera can't cope, in their stripes. These I've had for ages. These were, these were Christmas some time ago. You can tell it's been cold because it's all my long socks rather than my little trainer socks. Hankies, everything else. Yeah, oh, I don't know. I think I need to put my big girl knickers on and just say, you know what, Vivi, just go and tackle it. Because it's, let's put this down for a second. It's not going to do it. It's not going to do it on its own. There we are. So miles away now, aren't you? Calm down here. Yeah, it's not going to happen on its own. And it is that thing of, it would be really, really good if I could get that pass. Just because, you know, it's expensive after a while, going backwards and forwards. So I think I'm going to just tackle it head on right now. I'm also kind of hungry because what's the time? It's like nearly 3 o'clock. I've been up since 6 this morning. I had my breakfast around about 9. So it's been quite a while. But the thought now of standing in the kitchen to cook. Anyway, right, I'll finish hanging the washing. I always use this wooden airer, by the way, clothes horse, airing rack, whatever you call it. I've never used a tumble dryer. And I think quite a few people, you know, will be thinking twice now about using their tumble dryer. Look, it's okay for me because I live on my own. There's not a huge amount of washing. One load of washing, I can get it distributed on here and where I hang things in the bathroom. You know, if you've got, especially if you've got a baby in nappies and you're doing your own nappies, you know, your old school terry toweling, I understand why people use their tumble dryers. Otherwise you have wet washing everywhere all the time. And it's probably a double-edged thing at the moment as well, isn't it, if we're keeping our heating off. I've gotten chilly sitting still at the computer, which is why I've got my hoodie on again. But yeah, it works perfectly well. And where I'm going to hang the ones on the hangers, it's going to hang in the bathroom, it's kind of above where the radiator is. So that if I do so there's plenty of air circulation on them, brilliant. And then if I do put the radiators on tonight, if I can't stand it for another minute, I've been trying, actually for the last 2 months, trying not to put the heating on much, even before this price hike. Because even before the price hike, prices had gone up from last October. But I really hate being cold, and if I'm sitting still, computer, same shit, whatever it is, it just gets into my bones and I hate it. So I whack it on for half an hour, and it's usually enough to take the edge off. Hot water bottle, blanket over my knees at work. But yeah, it just means popping those in the bathroom. They'll get a bit of heat, but there's still air. And if I do that, then later on, I'll put the whole airing rack in the bathroom, shut the door behind myself, and it acts like a bit of a sort of a warming, drying cupboard in there. So yeah, you don't turn your tumble dryer on. That's one area where you could save if, like I said, if you're a smallish household and you're not doing laundry every single day. I only do my laundry once a week, sometimes less than that. I'll alternate between a dark wash and a light wash, so the next wash will be a light wash. Right, I'm rambling now. I'm procrastinating. I'm going to go and see if I can do that scanner. I'm going to turn you all off though, because I have a feeling I might say some naughty words. So I'll see you in a few minutes, hopefully with all my hair still in place and not pulled out. Well, I've worked out how to do a scan. Brilliant. Scanned both sides of the letter. Go to upload it to their site. They've emailed with a link to the site that I need to upload it to. It won't upload. It won't upload. And it keeps saying, there is a problem. And then it gives me a number to call and this great long reference number. And I'm thinking, a number to call. I've been there, done that. I'm not doing I'm on the phone all afternoon. That's the thing, isn't it? It's like, it's just days disappear and I get nowhere. So there is an option to photocopy, so now I've practiced photocopying on my new little printer. I've got to say, it's working a dream. So photocopy them, old school, cover letter, in an envelope, with a stamp, go to the post office. I think that's going to come on stock. It's an old envelope. Whilst I was doing it, I got another beep beep. Just heard from the Strimmer people. It should be getting delivered within the next 2 hours. I've finally begun the time slot. Yay! So anytime in the next 2 hours, that will take me till about, 4 or 5 o'clock or so. So hopefully I'll be able to get this to the post box, hopefully in time before missing the last post. It's weird, isn't it? This has made me a little bit grumpy. I'm easily grumpy. I think, I think partly I get grumpy because I'm uncomfortable. But, people are always saying to me, oh, you should ask for help. You're entitled to this, you're entitled to that. One of the reasons I don't ask for help is because invariably I'm disappointed. So I've got a feeling that this is going to be rejected. I don't think there's enough. I've sent them a letter from the hospital which talks about the severity of the degeneration, and if they say no after that, well, I'll just give up. I'm not going to, Anyway, it's like that all the time, isn't it? But I know how to do the scan. I know how to do the photocopy. That all worked. I can tuck it all away now. I will get it under there at some point. My strimmer's on its way, and now I can try and think about being productive with what's left of today. Food! I need to do food. Right, I think I need to crack on with doing some food. I'm back. Goodness me. It doesn't quite look it on the screen, does it? The light is going. It's just coming up for 6 o'clock. Busy. So, okay, first of all, apologies for that slight dip in my mood earlier. I think there's just something about, and I know I got a bit neggy, I apologise. I think there's something about waiting for delivery, especially, you know, when the initial email I got said can be delivered up to 10 p.m. tonight. It's just, it's the waiting around, isn't it? And when it's the lack of certainty about the whole thing. I find it quite hard to relax and do other stuff when that's kind of hanging over me. I know, it's daft, but there we go. Anyway, it arrived, it's here. And I was just thinking, I really hope nothing else breaks now, because that's the lavender bag money and eBay money gone. I need to get sewing. I need to get on with some sewing, and more of that in just a second. Got something to show you. Yeah, well, it's arrived, brilliant. I brought it all the way upstairs, and I got it up here, and I suddenly thought, why have you brought it upstairs? I should have left it down all the stairs next to the front door so I can just scoot it off with me to the garden tomorrow morning. But actually, it needs putting together. Another instruction manual. It's dead straightforward. I'm going to take my glasses off for a second. Are they reflecting? So, brilliant. The minute that arrived, I brought it upstairs, got myself together to go to the post office with those couple of little parcels, and more importantly, the big parcel to the courier drop shop. So, excuse me, right, I should also say, before that, I've managed to get 2 lots of soup into the freezer. Yay! I didn't film any of that because, frankly, you know, I was feeling a bit niggled. And it's amazing, literally, as soon as this was arrived, I could feel myself just relax straight away. So I know that that's what's wound me up. It's waiting for it. Anyway, so yeah, a couple of lots of soup in the freezer, brilliant. Taking delivery of this, out to drop the big parcel at the courier drop shop, which is up the hill away, not too far. And because I was a bit up the hill, I thought, well, you know what, I could probably do with stretching my legs, because I do still feel quite tight everywhere. And if I go a little bit further up the hill, I get to my favourite charity shop. I still haven't bought any books. I've been so good. Well, not for me. I bought a few books as presents, but nothing for me. How long is that now? It's 3 months and a bit, isn't it? 3 months without buying a new book. Wowzers. Although, in fairness, I've got plenty to read. Anyway, while I was there, I spotted something which I'll show you in a second. But now, one of the other things I wanted to get on with today, the light's getting a little bit poor. Like I said, it's pretty much just coming up for 6 o'clock. I think I might leave this until, not tomorrow. Tomorrow hopefully is a garden day. Hopefully say Wednesday. Wednesday is a rain day, so I'm going to be at home again. But I wanted to start on the first batch of my next new batch of bunting. I'm just going to show you the fabrics the next batch is going to be made from. Oh, hang on, you can't see them all very well, can you? So it's sort of greens and pinks. Oh, I love this one, isn't it? Cheerful and a nice spot. So that combination. I love this one as well. This is a vintage one. I've had that in my stash quite a while. I love it. I really, really love it. It's sort of reminiscent of the fabric I used for my shed curtains. The only thing with it having quite a strong stripe in it, I have to be really careful with my cutting, because there'd be nothing worse than a pennant of a piece of bunting and the stripe slightly off. That'd be awful. So, yes, it's time to start cutting. It's been a long time. A long, long time. I think I mentioned last year I did a few buntings purely on commission, but otherwise I just didn't have time. Too much else going on, so I'm really looking forward to getting back into sewing. But like I said, I think the light today, I'm going to wait. Also, I'm going to go through all my smaller bits again because, like I mentioned, I have got a bit more lavender to process, so hopefully a couple more lavender bags. Yeah, fingers crossed. But never mind that bunting. I have made a few pennants recently because I've got my first commission of the year. Now, I don't like making bunting to commission. I don't like making anything to commission for the very simple reason that I just hate the thought of letting someone down. I really hate it. And life is so unpredictable. You know, the last 2 years really have been a bit up and down and unpredictable. And I would hate for someone to ask me to make it, especially if it's for specific, like last summer, I had something to do for a wedding. And I got really, really stressed about it in the end because I kept not having time and thinking, this event is getting closer and closer. I have to do it. I have to do it for them. So there are a few late nights and, you know, it's not an ideal way to work. So I'd rather not take commissions. However, I've taken this commission because it's for a friend, one of my local friends. Now, she asked if I could do it in reds, yellows and oranges, which aren't really my well, reds, I do use a bit of red, but orange and yellow, not so much. However, I have got together, that's a lovely, cheerful, buttery yellow, and then this one, which is a slightly more acidy, lemony yellow, and this is left over from the lemon, this fabric I bought last year to go with the lemons, the zesty lemons that I put in bunting. And I think I might have a couple of those pennants left as well, so they might end up in another bunting. Anyway, so I had this fabric left anyway, so I've managed to, I just made them all up. This will be more than I need, because there's about, what's that, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17 there, and maybe 12 there. That's way more than I need. I might make it extra long for her. She's a good friend. So, yay, I've got a bit in the yellows. Definitely don't have any orange fabric. I've just said definitely, and then I'm immediately thinking, oh, have I? No, I definitely haven't. I've got a sort of peachy, it's quite soft colours, and I know that she wants it really, really strong. Now, my favourite fabric shop, the fabric shop I've been going to for years and years and years, I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but they've closed. They closed at the end of February. It's such a shame. That place was always, it didn't matter what time of day, what day of the week I went, it was always chock-a-block full. I loved it. There was such an amazing buzz in that place. Just people being creative with fabric, people buying fabric for dressmaking, wedding dresses, for making linens for the house, the kind of stuff I did. The whole section at the back was the quilter's paradise in the quilting white cottons. Students from, we've got quite a big art school not too far away, so a lot of the students from the art school would be there. The number of times I would have a baby thrust into my arms, you know, there's a mum trying to juggle all the roles. She's like, hold the baby for a minute. So I'm like, oh, all right, so I'm holding someone else's baby, and then someone thrusts, I've got a toddler on her hip and a baby in my arm. I loved it. But the owner wanted to retire. I don't know how long they've been there. It feels like they've been there forever. And I can't quite believe it wasn't bought as a going concern. So I haven't found yet where I'm going to be buying my fabrics from in future. I know I'm going to have to go a few miles. I'm probably going to have to go north of the river. I can't even bear to think about it yet, but I've got enough fabric here to keep me going for a few months. It's just if someone wants a very specific colour, I'm going to be a bit, yeah, I'm gutted about that. But anyway, back to today. So I dropped off the big parcel and the other two were in my bag, and they didn't weigh much, so I didn't mind going up the hill, diversion, because that's not the way to the post office. That's the way to the post office. Went to my favourite charity shop Look what I found. Oh my goodness, this is so gorgeous. I'm so fickle. I've so moved on from the octopus. Look at the pansies. Are they pansies? Oh, are they pansies or nasturtiums? I'm not sure. Isn't it bonny? That's such beautiful fabric. There's got to be, I think there's about 2.5 meters here. That's fantastic. Oh, yay. I'm so good. Oh, look at it again. It's so beautiful. So now that is going to be bright enough for my friend. And because it's got the yellow in it as well, so it's going to work really well. See, that's the thing. People are talking about buying fabric online. First of all, I want to feel fabric. That's my first indicator of quality, is the feel. But also, I want to put all the different fabrics together to work out, is that going to work as a bunting or in a quilt or whatever. Excuse me. Sometimes, I'm excited. Sometimes I've gone to that shop. So for example, with those ones I just showed you, those 3 I had already, including these 2 are vintage. To get a kind of a match for those, to do it online would have been a nightmare. These 2 are brand new. So the day that I bought these 2, I took these 3 with me so that I could match them up, you see? And I spend so long working with all the different sort of patterns and colours. I'll end up with 20 rolls off the shelf, mixing, matching. No, that's not quite right. Put that one back. Get another one. Oh, it's too bright. It needs to be just a softer tone or whatever it is. I mean, I can spend an hour selecting 3 fabrics. Can't do that online. Anyway, this was obviously worth a punt. That is going to work great with it. And then the only thing to decide then, I'm going to let her decide this. I will show her. I've already said that I'll make up all the pennants, but I won't stitch it all together for the final stitch up. I'm going to let her arrange them how she wants, do the final pick. So I'll take more pennants than she'll need, so she can really, really choose. Like I said, she's a good friend. She's a local friend. I adore her. She's been really good to me, so I'm going to let her have the final say. And then the last thing will be to decide whether to do a red webbing. So let me take the yellow one out of the way for now. So they'll all be stitched into the red webbing. It'll be stitched, obviously, like that along the top. Or, and that's nice, but I think she might enjoy the yellow, because then the yellow webbing against the red fabric, really, really, just so jolly, really jolly. I have to get over my aversion to yellow. That kind of sort of really custardy, lovely deep yellow, almost going towards mustard, I don't mind. I'm not so much one for the sort of the lemon and the slightly more acidy yellows. But I am absolutely chuffed to bits with that. So before I get stuck into the pinks and greens, I'm going to start cutting, sewing. I'm going to go through the stash again. I don't think I've got any orange. But I'm going to try and convince her that actually just alternating with these 2, especially with the yellow webbing, alternating these 2 will look great. What I can do is I could always pin up a sample for her to show her. Trust me, it's great. So this will be cut before the pinks and the greens. Good. To be honest, I'm just having a sit to catch my breath again. It's always at this time of day where I start to flag and I start to really think, oh, I need to stop, but there's still stuff to do. So just a bit of a half-hour sit, quiet time, pardon me, before on my desk over there's a new pile of work. I know what I can do. I'll put the strimmer together. But the other thing I've got with me at the moment is, I mentioned these in the shed the other day, the flower and herb seeds. I just can't decide what to do in the herb bed. I want to do everything. My problem is, I would quite happily, the whole size of my plot, I would quite happily have a flower and herb garden that size. I would love that. Except that ain't going to feed me, is it? Yes, I know some flowers are edible, but, you know, a bowl of nasturtium petals don't fill me up. So I could do that while I'm on the sofa. I don't know. Or I might just sit and zong out. Oh, and the other thing was, going up to the charity shop, it was a bit more of a purpose. There were a couple of things that didn't sell on eBay. There were some really nice shoes, really beautiful. I've worn them, obviously I've worn them, but there's hardly any wear. I didn't, you know, they're not worn out at all. Looking at the heels, you'd think they've hardly been worn. And it's that thing, isn't it? I'm a size 8, which is quite big-footed. And it's always that thing in charity shops. It's always like you know, you get the sizes, the middle sizes. You don't get the really small and you don't get the really large. So I'm hoping that someone will be delighted with those. So yeah, I took them off to them, and a couple of books, and there was something else. What was it? Oh yeah, just some sort of books and postcardy bits. Oh yeah, some first day covers, stamped first day covers. So, good. I've given to them and they have given to me by way of the fabric. That cost, what was it? Oh my goodness, £3.50. That's a bargain. It's I've never had such a good bargain from them in fabric, I've got to say. I mean, that's what I paid for that little scrap of the octopus. Now, obviously the octopus was valuable, but yeah, I've done really well out of that, and I might have to make some bunting for their shop window as a thank you. You know what, I could do that. I could get to all these different makes I've got going on, whatever sort of pennants I've got left, that they might all be mismatched, but it won't matter. Make a little string of bunting for them to put in the shop window. I think that'll be a nice way of saying thank you. Right, okay. Time to just regroup, get my breath, think about what I'm going to do next. The soups are in the freezer already, so I think probably the next job will be to make the curry, because I want some of that tonight, and then I'll have some tonight, some tomorrow night, but I'll put 2 portions in the freezer. I'm trying to build up my stock of ready meals in the freezer again, just for those days, and I'm to cook. Yeah, cook, and then no, I'm going to do thinking aloud. You don't need to hear me thinking aloud. I was about to say I'm going to start cutting that red fabric. No, cutting on Wednesday. Right, make a curry. Put the strimmer together, and then get on with. I've got some stock over there that I need to upload into my shop. Oh, and do you remember I was saying right back at the beginning? I think this is going to have to be 2 episodes. In the previous one about the weight and the algorithm for my shop weighing thing, it was less. It cost less to post than was quoted. I knew that would be the case because it's 1 parcel rather than 3. So yeah, refund my customer that difference. After a sit down. All right, I will see you shortly doing something else. Probably be dark by then. It might be just me in bed snoring. I don't snore. I'm at the stage of being a little bit done in. It's 10:30. I'm just checking my clock. Yeah, it's just gone 10:30. And I'm supposed to be doing my last job of the day, but I can't because of the computer. I'll explain why in a second. So, I have been trying to finish at 10 at night and then use, 10 till 12, those couple of hours for relaxation before bedtime. But I really, really, really wanted to get finished with my to-do list today, which included, there's 9 books here. It's the last 9 for me to upload into my shop. They've all been photographed, they're all ready to go. It takes about an hour for me to do 8 items, so this will be about an hour and 5 or 6 minutes. However, the computer is busy, so I want to do a quick whoosh, I can't do a quick whoosh. The thing about the way I live is every minute counts, and I try to make the most of every minute, not just in terms of, productivity, but also joy. So, since that last time I saw you at about 6 o'clock, I'm so tired now, 6 o'clock, when I was excited about the fabric, still excited, I went into the kitchen and I made curry. Great. I've had a nice portion of curry. I've got another one for tomorrow, 2 in the freezer. By the way, this is a visual reminder for me. This was the squash, the gorgeous squash we saw at the start of the day. I didn't use it in the end. And I'm hoping that this is going to be a good tip to share with everybody else. I was about to use it and I thought, I'm just going to check on all my other squash. Now, the small squash I leave till the end because they're really handy for one portion of something. Or not one portion, one meal. 3 or 4 portions. The big ones, when I cut into them, I know that the minute I cut into them, I have to use the whole thing up. So it's got to be one of those days when I make 3 or 4 different meals. Exactly what I was planning for today and exactly what I've done. But just before I did it, I thought I'm just going to check all my other squash, the big ones. And there was one that had a bit of a split in the skin. It happened over the summer at some point last year. Possibly it split because we had suddenly lots of rain and it suddenly wants to plump up and it bursts its skin. Not sure. And it looked kind of healed over, it looked really healed over. However, my thinking is, I use up my produce. The first produce I use up is the produce that looks possibly like it won't store. This one has the most beautiful, rub it again, it's so gorgeous, the most beautiful intact skin on it. This, in theory, could store till next winter. I have had squash 18 months, getting on for 2 years after harvest. This one is definitely going to keep. There are zero issues with it. The stalk is still on, blah, blah, blah. So in the end, I used up one that had that split from last summer. Even though it looked healed over, I thought, I'm just going to use you first, just in case. So when you're using your produce, that's my little tip and hint, is go through everything, and any of your produce that's got a tiny bit of a blemish, whatever it is, use it first. The most perfect examples leave till the very end. So, yes, curry, done, brilliant. Didn't take too long. There's a bit of, it's maybe 15, 20 minutes of prep in terms of skinning the squash, getting seeds out, skinning the sweet potato that I used, and then it just kind of bubbles for 20 minutes. So, because I used my time cannily, I then jumped straight onto the computer, and while I should say, because this video has ended up being long, I decided, it's going to be in 2 halves. So I thought, I can get the first half dealt with today. This half that you're now seeing will be dealt with tomorrow. But that first half I can deal with right now. Because it takes so long for my computer doesn't like me. It takes ages for me to download the footage from the camera and then upload that into the video program. All of that was happening. I made that all start. I made it happen. Whilst that was happening, I started doing my veg prep. So it's that kind of multitasking. I'm only doing one thing, the computer's doing something else. Brilliant. By the time all the veg was prepped, it was all ready in the computer for me. I can start editing, great. Quick, get this veg chopped up, get it chucked in a pan, get all my spices and everything going on, my curry spices, get it all bubbling away. Coconut milk right at the very last minute. I don't simmer the coconut milk, just the veggies. So it's simmering away for 20 minutes. I start my edit. I'm halfway through the edit. My curry is kind of pretty much done, just add the coconut milk, stop the edit, go and eat, come back, finish the edit, and then the save, the render, and that's the bit that can take ages. And that's why tonight it's taking forever. So all of these books that I need to put into the shop, I think realistically, it's going to wait. It's going to wait for another day. There's part of me, and it's always true, that wants to finish my to-do list in one day. But it gets to this time of night and it's like, oh, you know, don't be silly. Don't be silly. Let the computer finish what it's doing. I really fancy a bath, but it's not bath night. Shall I have one? Whatever. I'm calling it a day. It's 10:30 at night. I've worked hard all day. I've done enough. I deserve to stop. So, you know, just thinking back this whole day, it's been a great day. I know I had that kind of, oh, don't knock the stalk off. I know I had that big dip in the middle of the day, just because I'd submitted that application and they wanted more information, and then I was like, oh, I don't know how to do it on the computer and the printer. I'm waiting for this delivery. So it's a bit of a dip in the middle of the day, but I didn't let it completely get to me like I have done in the past. It's like, okay, face it, head on, do it, it's done, right, crack on. So actually, you know, I think it's been a really productive day. I have got now 10 meals in the freezer. I've eaten today, obviously I'll eat tomorrow from that. So yeah, 10 meals in the freezer. I've done all my orders and got all my post out. Good. What else have I done? It seems like nothing. I mean, I've spent hours on the computer, which is usual every day. I've replied to every comment, every message and every email that's come in the last 2 or 3 days. Everybody has been spoken back to, and not just like social media stuff, but every other email I've had in. So it's good. It's been a long day. My alarm went off at 6 o'clock this morning, which is disgusting, but I'm happy. It's been productive. I'm in one piece at the end of it all. Yeah, it's good. I like it. I like being productive. I like working hard. I think there might be a bit of Amish in me. I don't know. More of that another day. I've been watching Amish a lot recently. Anyway, yes, so I'm happy. I'm really happy with the way today has turned out. I'm so tempted to get this lot done, but I'm not going to, because tomorrow I'm hoping to get back to the garden, and that's going to be a big day for me. The last time I was in the garden, I did a bit, couple of hours, I was done, the strimmer was done. My next visit, I want it to be a bit longer and a bit more productive, still being really gentle, but yeah. So I'm mindful tonight that, yeah, I'd love to get everything done, but I'm going to stop, preserve a bit for tomorrow for the garden. Can't wait. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for today over the course of 2 videos. If you hung out for the whole 2 videos, I hope you did, because I think if nothing else, I think the reward of that gorgeous fabric, oh, that was so worth it, wasn't it? Thank you so much. I need to go to bed. I can't because the computer's running. I will stop rambling. I will say cheerio. I will say to you all, happy seed sowing, happy needle and thread sewing, whatever it is you're up to, happy doing it, be productive, don't be idle. You know, I'm not going to say devil makes work for idle hands and all that, I just said it, but yeah, don't be idle, be productive, because it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding. I am going to sleep really well tonight, because I've gone tick down my list. There's a whole lot of the list I haven't ticked, but never mind. I can tackle that on Wednesday, my next rainy day at home. But yeah, don't be idle, work hard, enjoy the rewards, and sleep well. That's it, I'm off. Night night. Sleep well, everyone. Sweet dreams.